Hello all. Today we are going to see the topic called command line argument in C program. Okay, so we are going to see the how to what is the purpose of command line argument in C program. Normally in C program we have seen that when we are going to get the input from the user, we need to use scanf and we can get the input from the user. On that time, we will get only one particular value for one variable when we are executing the program. But here, I am in the runtime, I am going to give multiple set of inputs for a variable in the runtime. I am going to compile my program once and I am going to run my program. In the execution part, I will give multiple inputs in my particular executions without getting into the program, without compilation. Once again, I am going to give multiple set of inputs to my C program. How to do it? For that, we need two important parameters we need to pass in the main function itself. One will be argument C, another will be character array called star argument V. So in the point, this particular pointer array is used to store our data items, collective collection of data items. Actually, argument C means it is a count of arguments. Count of argument mean how many set of input needed for my particular program. For example, if I am going to add two numbers, so I need two inputs. If I want to just print greatest of three numbers, I need three inputs. If I want to sort four items in an array means I need four inputs. Likewise, how many inputs I need, that is argument C, that is denoted by argument C parameter. Or star argument V means, for example, if I am allocating argument C, that means how many argument count of argument I am indicating, that many size of memory I need to allocate. Based upon the count of argument, I am going to allocate my memory in the character data type. We will see in the program how to convert the character into corresponding data types whenever necessary. But here we have to understood that argument C means count of argument. That means how many input is needed for my program. And for that corresponding input, I need to allocate the memory, physical memory, using pointer variable called star argument V array. This is going to allocate the memory for me. So how to run my particular command line argument, because command line argument program will be totally different from the normal C program. Why? Because we are going to give multiple set of inputs in the runtime itself. We are not going to run again and again for getting the different set of input and output. We are going to retain our execution once and we are going to give multiple set of inputs. For that, we need to have some procedure. So the first procedure is we need to compile the program first in the dev C++. Whatever you are having the IDEs, for example code blocks, Visual Studio, you can compile it first. Then you have to go to the command prompt. Okay, so after getting into the command prompt, you have to go to the location where your file will be saved, and you have to copy that location. While when you are copy that particular file location, you have to create a path in the command prompt to run your program. This is the overall procedure, but we are going to execute it in the demo now. Okay, so let me going to execute it afterwards. But how this particular argument C and argument B work, let's have some example. Normally, we are always going to use our Google as a search engine, basic search engine. Okay, have you imagined that you are searching something in the Google and it is getting the result. You are searching multiple number of items in the same text box again and again. It is giving the different set of outputs. So no one is not imagine about the how the algorithm is working in the background. But in the front end, Google is just running successfully with the multiple set of inputs. Here, the count of argument. So how many count of argument is there? Only one count of arguments. What is that? Text box, search text box. Okay, so with the help of one inputs, I can give various number of different set of inputs every time in one text box to get a different result. That we can call it as count of argument. So according to the Google, my count of argument is 1. So my input is 1. Okay, so this is called argument, count of argument, ARGC variable. So how to start our particular command line argument practically? So we are going to start our command line argument using the int main. You have to pass argument C and char data type argument V. But here I am indicating the standard library header file stdlib. I will explain in the program why I am using it. And then we have to declare the required variable. Here I am going to demonstrate how to how to add two numbers using in the C program using command line argument. For that I need two variables and I am going to save that variable into the result in the another variable. So I am using sum comma x comma y. So how that particular argument pointer array will be going to allocate the memory. For example, as I already told you, for addition of two numbers, we need two variables, two inputs. So the two inputs, the memory will be allocated, but practically it will allocate another memory also, that is for file names. Okay, so for the index number 0, file name will be saved. Index number 1, first input will be saved, followed by the next input. So on, as per my logic, I can save n number of inputs. But ensure that always in the argument V pointer array index in the index number 0, my file name will be always saved. So we have to get to the conclusion here that always our real input starts from index number 1. Okay, so this is the overall understanding we need to ensure before getting into the program. So let us go to the program now. So here I am having add addition of two numbers program here. Okay, so as I told you, I have declared int main with the two parameters. One is argument C, another one will be pointer array argument B. So for example, for addition of two numbers, I need 3. I need 3 on my argument size will be 3. Why my argument size will be 3 means, so it includes file name followed by input 1 comma input 2. So only I can add and I can save it into my result. Then according to my inputs, my array will go into allocate my memory. Okay, so now I am going to just give sum comma x comma y. So now I am changing my program. Already some program will be there. I am changing that program. So now I am going to check if argument C is not equal to 3. Means exactly I need to give 3 particular input items. One will be file name, another will be followed by 2 input. Exactly I need to give 3 inputs as per my this logic. Okay, so I am checking whether I am giving 3 exact input or not. If I am not giving 3 input, for example, I am giving lesser than 3 or greater than 3 means automatically it will go into give me the result called enter proper input. Then I am going to return this to the main. That means I need to end the particular program here itself. I don't want to continue. So I am using return here. Then followed by, as I already told you, in the argument number 1, in the index number 1 and the index number 2 only, we have created, we just going to save our real inputs. So I am already saving x here. Now I am going to do the y operation. Here I am using AR A to I particular function, predefined function called A to I. So this A to I function will be character to integer. It will going to convert my particular input from the character to integer because my basic, my parameter memory allocation will be in the character, but I have to add 2 numbers. If I want to add 2 numbers, but 2 numbers basically it should be at least in integer. So I have to convert my input from character to integer. Here also the same process. I am converting my particular program from character to integer. Okay, so these are all the common procedure. These are all the common procedure template we have to follow before we are getting start to our logic. Now x will be going to act as a argument 1, y will be going to act as a argument 2. That means index number 1 and index number 2. Now I am going to save sum is equal to x plus y. Then normally you can do the printf operation as it is. So after this there is no need of any special operation. You can just print the sum value. So you have to save it. As I already told you, you how to particular execute it. Step number 1, you have to compile it first. So once it is compiled, so far I don't have any error here. That means let me ensure that whether there is any error or not. Okay, so there is no error here. Okay, so my compilation is successful. Then, so let me compile. So no more errors. So once I compiled this program, automatically one exe file will be generated in C. Okay, so actually we are typing our program in .c format. Our execution, once it is compiled, my execution will be done in .exe format. Okay, so once I compiled this particular program, my exe file will be created. In the exe file only my execution will happen. So to access this exe file, I have to copy this path. I need to go to the command prompt, just type cmd. Okay, now the command prompt is open. Just give cd space that path. Where you are saving that particular program files, you have to make that particular location. Then go to that particular location. Now I am getting into that location. So as we already know that our particular file name is add. So I am going to add 34 and 78. Automatically my output will come as that 112. For example, I need to give different set of input 56 and 67. It will give 123. If I want to give another set of input also, it will going to give the another set of output. For example, without this command line argument, if you want to just execute this different set of input Without command line argument means you need to run the program 3 times and you need to execute it 3 times and you to get the output. Each and every time you need to compile it again, you have to run it again. Okay, so that will be the disadvantage of without using command line argument. We have to in the command line argument, automatically what we are doing is we compile once and in the runtime we are giving the different set of inputs to check our outputs. Okay, so as I already told you, here in the index number 0, in the argument v character pointer array, index number 0, my file name will be always in the index number 0 and followed by from the index number 1 I am going to save, I am going to have my real inputs. Okay, so this we have to understood very carefully. Before this video I told that index number 0 is file name followed by the input, that we should not forget. So only whenever you are going to go perform any logic, you need to start converting your particular data to the other data types from the index number 1 itself. You should leave as such for index number 0 because it is a file name. It is a exe file name, execution file name in which we have generated from .c file just now. Okay, so this is the overall concept of command line arguments. Thank you.